So what are some of the things, and maybe you can walk me through what the hiring process would look like for an internship?
So when we are going through our applicants and looking at resumes, I think a thing that, because you're right, not everybody has 5 internships in this industry already. A lot of people are trying to find their first one. We're getting sophomores, right, that just declared their major and are still trying to figure out where to find their footing within this industry because it is a really broad industry. So a thing that we're really passionate about making sure that we look for as kind of the first line of defense of looking at resumes, and we really impart on our managers who end up reviewing candidates down the line, is looking for transferable skills. Really kind of looking and understanding based on what a candidate has done, knowing that they might be a sophomore in college or a junior in college where they don't have that like work experience set, really kind of understanding, okay, what have they shown on their resume from a school project perspective that could be applicable to this? What have they, how have they articulated the summer waiter job that they had in a way that kind of makes sense for the role that they're applying to? I think some of that onus does fall on the student to really kind of think about how they're articulating what they have done. And again, I'll emphasize food service, customer service, retail, things like that, that you might think like, well, that was just like a job I had at the Gap. Like, I don't know if I should put that on my resume. No, put that on your resume. You are learning so many skills at those types of positions that are going to be so beneficial for you tomorrow, 6 months from now, 4 years from now. You know, you're learning customer service. You're learning how to diffuse difficult situations. You're learning how to manage a lot at once. These are all things that are super transferable and that you want to make sure that you're articulating that someone knows that you know how to do. For someone who's thinking like, well, all I did was work at the ice cream shop down by the shore last summer. Like, no, that's awesome. That is amazing. Put what you've done, you know? So I think that's part of it. And then again, on the flip side, we're really imparting onto our people, look for those transferable skills, understand that the work that they did in their business fraternity at school is going to be beneficial for you in your position that you're hiring for. And you don't need someone who has 7 internships under their belt already. It's so great to find someone who is new and fresh and who you can help mold, you know? So I think that's kind of the first side of it. If we're looking at the actual process though, when folks apply, again, we're looking at every single resume that comes in. We're looking for those transferable skills. We're looking to make sure that folks have kind of known what they're applying for. A lot of times people just mass apply to jobs, and you want to make sure that like it makes sense what you're applying to. It doesn't necessarily have to be hyper focused because again, you're still figuring stuff out. But if you are a finance major, let's say, it might not make sense for you to apply to a graphic design position. So we want to make sure that we're looking at folks under that lens too. The folks that we like, we send an email to through our applicant tracking system saying like, thank you so much for applying. We are working on next steps and we'll be in touch soon, but we want to verify a couple things with you. And we verify that they're able to work the dates of our program because we do have set kind of guidelines around that. They have to be able to start on one day, end on another day. And we also verify that they're able to work in the city in which the position that they applied to in that office, because we have moved back into a hybrid work environment of about 3 days a week in office. So we're requesting that our interns do that as well. So once we get them saying, yep, I'm good to go, then we actually send them a request to do a Spark hire. We have been utilizing Spark hire since 2016, since that year that things kind of blew up for us and we went from 40 to 80 some odd intern positions. And we found that utilizing the one-way video interviewing capabilities within Spark hire allowed us to still do a bit of that more personalized screen without us having to take 30 minutes out of our day to talk to every single person. So we utilize it in a way that we have a welcome video and we have about 6 to 7 video questions that intern candidates are required to ask. We made sure that we had videos of people asking the questions, because we know it's awkward to talk to your computer screen. And at least with this, they feel like, oh, someone asked me a question and I'm answering it, versus here's something written on a screen, let me verbalize my response. So we, again, send them that request. We give them about a week to do it. We review the Spark hires to make sure that folks have actually answered their questions, that things sound good. We understand, obviously, especially given the last handful of years, that people's home situations have been different with like COVID and working remotely and things like that. So we always make sure on our end, and again on our hiring managers' ends, that there's no judgment around kind of what the background that they're in is like, because we don't know their living situation, background noise, things like that. The key thing is the content of their responses and making sure that they're actually answering the question. We send completed Spark hires and resumes to a manager to review. They pick 2 or 3 that they want to do a Teams video interview with. And from that 2 or 3, we hire a person.